Welcome to Vlogmas Day 18. I hope you had fun with Tim yesterday. That was very sweet. Last year he also took over Vlogmas. I will put that up here so you can see his last year takeover. Everyone really liked it and I was getting requests, but we've just both been so busy that was the day that really worked. But do you know what? It was kind of perfect because it was a day I really felt like I needed a break. So allowing myself the freedom of not having Vlogmas obligations yesterday felt very good. So today, I did have plans this afternoon that were gonna be cute and festive, but people are getting sick, just not feeling well, and I'm like, it's busy, you need to take time. So we've rescheduled our plans, and otherwise I have the day off. So I've been doing some journaling today. You know, at the beginning of every year, I take time to look at how like my social media numbers have grown over the year, look at how my business like income has changed over the year. I just take time to reflect on that, and usually I do that in the week between Christmas and New Year's, but my family is all going to be in town and we're going to be just doing a lot of stuff. So since I have a couple of days off, I was like, I think today's the day to do that. So I did a little journal spread, which I showed you a little bit of. I wrote down all of the things that I knit for the year. I try to keep that like a consistent list throughout the year, but usually what happens is every few months I go and I like go through all my photos and just figure out what I had been talking about. So did that. And then also every year I like to pick a tarot card that's just sort of like emblematic of the year to come. So I have two tarot decks that I really love, and last year the card that I picked was the Temperance card. It's one of the cards in the Major Arcana, and I wasn't familiar with it, and that's kind of one of the reasons I really like doing this, aside from just like thinking about sort of what the year ahead is going to look like. But Temperance, in the context that I understood it, has to do with like staying the course. This is what I wrote when I picked it last year. You have a clear vision and know what you want to achieve, an indication of higher learning, which is a critical attribute in the journey of life. It reflects that you have found peace with what you are doing and everything is unfolding as it ought to, as well as balance between the outer and inner self. My sun sign is a Libra, so I really feel like balance is kind of a thing that I am always thinking about and are just like heavy themes in my life. So that card felt really good for last year, and I really feel like it was a good representation of the growth that I experienced and the work that I did. In general, when I'm reflecting back on the year, that feels very appropriate. So I'm going to pick my card for this year and then do a little bit of journaling about that. I also, if you don't have a tarot deck of your own, I can also highly recommend Valentine Tarot. My friend Sam, who is offering New Year's tarot readings. So I am also going to wait until that arrives in the mail for me, and then also do a separate spread about whatever Sam sends to me. But she's offering, New Year's tarot readings. I know that there are limited amounts, but if you're interested, I will leave a link down below because she's amazing, and she's offering that. So if this is something you would like to incorporate into your sort of end of year musings, that's another great way to do it. So the two tarot decks that I have are fairly different. One is called the Next World Tarot, and Christy C. Rode is someone who I sort of know. I have like maybe 1 degree of separation with. She's an artist, she's a rad queer, and we were like in zine community together. And so I have some friends who are like featured in the illustrations of these tarot decks, and it is like an explicitly queer and radical tarot deck, like all the writings in it and stuff. So I think it feels appropriate for me to pick from this, and then I will also find the same card that I pick in the Wild Unknown Tarot. I also like this one a lot, but I would say this one feels more related, very explicitly connected to the earth and nature, and this one very much feels community oriented. I know that might seem silly to say about tarot decks, but that's how it feels to me. So I'm gonna pick a card from the Next World Tarot. We'll do some shuffling. Okay, so the card that I picked is the Fool. And let's read what Next World has to say. The Fool isn't necessarily new to adulthood or responsibility. The Fool is new to their recognition of the spirit. They ask you to take this time to recall that challenge, that journey, or that creative outlet that hides in the warmest, quietest corner of the right side of your brain. What does it represent? Is it amped to save you and those around you? Is it fabulously affirming and righteously healing? Does this path set your truest self on fire and leave you glowing with ambition? Deconstruct what this journey means. Take on the burdens and delights. Understand that the cost of starting new is growing up, but the cost of growing up is not your wayward magic. And this is exactly why I do this every year, because what the hell? Like, that, yeah. It, like, I want to say it doesn't feel relevant, but I know that it's on me to find the relevance, but also sometimes that requires patience. So I am going to make photocopies of both of the cards so that I can paste them in here, and then do a little bit more reading and research about what it means, and just kind of like write down some of the verbiage that I'm hearing, and then we'll see what the tarot reading that Sam sends me says. And yeah, I think that's gonna be... This is why I do this, to challenge myself and make myself a little uncomfortable. So I'll talk to you in a bit, because I do want to give you a little knitting update. It's time for a knitting update. It looks so dark, and it is 2:30. It's not just been raining, but like storming here. And I spent the morning journaling. It was really nice, even though my tarot cards read me and my sister for filth. I called her and was telling her about my pull, and I was like, do you want me to pull one for you? And then we were like reading, and we were both like, it's fine. So that was it's always a nice, just like moment of reflection, and yeah, just to take some time to do that. I always really enjoy it. But now I am getting cozy on the couch. Like I said, it feels like I don't know, like 4, but it's only 2:30. So I wanted to update you on my knitting since I had a whole day, including a whole couple hours of knit night to knit yesterday that I didn't get the chance to show you. To be honest, it's not very exciting. But since Sunday night, it's currently Thursday, I have knit this much of the slipover, the Primrose Slipover. So this is the back of it. It's so funny, it curls so much that it doesn't look like a ton. But then when I'm actually holding it, like I'm not quite done with the first skein, but it's getting loose, and you know, we've made some progress, and that's what happens when we're just doing a bunch of stockinette. But this is honestly the perfect thing to be working on. Look at that color. And I keep thinking about ways that I'm going to wear it when I'm done, so that's very exciting. And some of you noticed my tamale stitch stoppers. We did have those. I don't think we have that exact style at Starlight at the moment, but I saw them on the website and I was like, I need those. And so I bought myself a pair, but then everyone saw mine and were like, why didn't we get more than one? So we bought them, and like slowly all of my like friends who are also Mexican and some who are not are like accumulating the tamales, which is very amusing and cute. And then I also wanted to give you an update on my Advent socks. I am a little behind. This is sort of just how it goes. I get behind, I catch up, I get behind. Because it's really not like a ton of knitting each day. But let's see how many stripes we got. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16. So we're 2 days. Please. So we're 2 days behind on the sock, but I'm really enjoying that all these purples are like at the top part of the sock. Yeah, really enjoying that still. So I think what I'm going to do right now is put on some Vlogmas videos. I'm a little behind on some of my favorites. I think I'm gonna heat up another cup of coffee, and I have Advent chocolate that I have not eaten. So we're gonna have a little kiki with some chocolate and some coffee. I mentioned that later today I'm gonna go over to Tim's for dinner. He's making beef stroganoff. I'm very excited. But on my way I want to pick up a bottle of wine, mostly for myself. And maybe like some dessert, and then Kay's gonna meet me there. So yeah, I'm getting the relaxing day that I wanted. That's for sure. Yeah, let's cue up some Vlogmas.